Welcome to Kicking Sciatica's Butt. It is February 1st, a little bit after 11 a.m., 2020. My name is Dean Volk, and I just want to say thanks for being here. Who is this webinar for? This webinar is for anyone who's dealing with sciatica or piriformis syndrome issues. It's for you if you're frustrated and feeling hopeless and because you have not gotten relief from your pain. It is for you if you're feeling overwhelmed, overlooked, and not taken seriously by those around you. It's for you if you've not found significant relief. It's for you if you've been missing out on doing the things you love with the people who mean the most to you. It is for you if you want understanding as to why what you've been doing has not worked. And lastly, it is you if you are serious about wanting real help, real answers, and real relief. So why am I taking time out of my day to do this? Because I love people and I love helping people and getting them back on track with their lives. I was walking to work one day and I started looking up information online about sciatica and piriformis syndrome. And as a PT, honestly, I got confused. And I assumed others would as well with everything that was out there. Things were crazy. Do I bend forward? Do I bend backward? Do I stretch or not? Do I stretch the good side, the bad side, both, neither? Do I demand an MRI? Do I request to see a surgeon? Will this wrap or strap work? Do I ice or heat? Does a TENS machine fix this? Is an inversion table helpful? I have a herniated disc. How come I'm not having surgery? These are some of the things that I was reading. So what do I do? Will this ever go away? Will I ever be normal again? So there was so much information out there, so many things that people were writing and saying that I know if other people would attempt to do, would absolutely cause problems for them. Then after going on Google and look on Facebook, and I found people telling their stories, sharing their struggles, which to me is actually really awesome because it basically helps people to know that they are not alone. And then people were giving advice away. And I realized at this juncture that I could step in and help people because everyone is unique and different. And really, what works for you may not work for another. Some people get amazing results with injections. Other people get no relief. Some people say, hey, an inversion table is awesome. Other people say it doesn't work. People with the same diagnosis have such varying symptoms and varying issues that it can be really, really confusing. So even though two people may have the exact diagnosis, symptoms and treatments can actually vary differently. And oftentimes symptoms can sound identical, but the source of the problem can be different. And if you do the same exact activity that somebody else feels is 100% fixing them, it can actually do the other and the exact opposite to you. Then I started asking people, how much are you spending on your care? And it ranged anywhere from $70 to $100 a week to $1,000 in the first 5 to 6 weeks. People were spending $3,000 on packages at various offices, and most of the people I was talking to said they were getting no relief. People were spending $30,000 to $100,000 on every treatment and gadget possible and anything to try to get relief. And you know what? My heart dies for those types of people and for people like you if you've been trying everything and nothing has worked. When I read what people have done in this group for relief, I actually want to cry and actually have cried at times. And you know what? I understand the agony of sciatica. I've watched it on my wife's face. I've watched it in our lives. So here I am, hopefully to try to help clarify, simplify, and give some understanding to you to try to help you realize, okay, maybe this is not working. Just wanted to give you as much understanding as I can. So that begs the question, who am I and who do I think I am that I can help? Well, obviously, I'm the gentleman in the black shirt on the left-hand side, the red and the blue shirt on the right-hand side, and the older gentleman in the bottom picture. My name is Dean Volk. I'm a physical therapist. I've got a master's in physical therapy. Physical therapists are also known as physiotherapists in every other part of the world other than the United States. I've got 27 plus years experience after graduating and being licensed. In order to get my license, I had to have a master's degree back 27 years ago, which is 3 years of post-grad study. I had to pass a national licensing exam to become a practicing physical therapist. I currently own 2 physical therapy clinics in Charlotte, North Carolina. I own a mobile concierge practice in Charleston, South Carolina. And in May 2018, I was the founder of Sciatica Relief Now, which is an online sciatica help site. And if you guys can look on the right, this gentleman, he is a World War II and Korean vet. He is one of the most humble gentlemen that I know, and I've had the privilege of seeing him on and off since he's been 88. He is now 91 years young, planning his 100th birthday party. He's an amazing young man. And over here on the left, this is Miss Betty White. And when she told me what her name was, I said, all right, I've got to take a picture to tell people that I treated Betty White. So you may not recognize her as Betty White, but this is Betty White. Top left is me working on some people at my clinic. The bottom left, that's my boys. And then to the right are them a little bit older. And then they even grew up a little bit older here. And obviously that little hot lady to my right there is my wife Trudy, who many of you have seen on a Facebook Live and who will be making an appearance again. And up on the top right corner, that is me basically giving this webinar in seminar form in my clinic. There's several more people back through here, but that is the picture that we took. So who am I? Continued. I'm actually a new author of a book, Sciatica Relief Now, that's been out for a little over a year. I'm also a health and wellness writer for the Charleston Mercury newspaper. I'm a guest sports medicine and rehab writer for Charleston's Oblique magazine. I'm a health and wellness writer for the Independent Tribune, which is a newspaper north of Charlotte, North Carolina. And for my UK viewers, Paul Goff, who is a UK's leading physio who owns multiple private practices through Northern England in Hartlepool, Darlington, Durham, and Guilsborough, he endorses me as the go-to physio for sciatica. I've actually cared for a member of his staff through video consultations, and now when they have issues with a client, they use me for assistance. He's the author of a book called The Healthy Habit, several PT business books. He writes for numerous papers. He's a regular panelist on the BBC, as well as being a sought-after speaker all over the world for PT business growth and development. And Paul said, Dean, for your UK viewers, if you put my name up there, that may help you. It just helps to have backing and support from somebody in the UK. So I thanked him and I said, I definitely will, Paul. So here's the webinar agenda. I'm going to fly through some things because I want to get to the fun part for all of you, which is I'm going to take a volunteer or two or three, run you through a couple exercises and show you how the techniques that I work can work for everybody. And I know everybody's different, but the principles that I'm going to teach and show and hopefully get you to understand will help you overcome your sciatica. First, I'm going to talk about the common complaints, frustrations, various symptoms, and things that I've learned and heard from clients over the past 27 years so that you know you are not alone. I'm then going to explain what sciatica and piriformis syndrome are, their symptoms, the similarities, etc., because so many people on the page are wondering, can I have both? Can I have one without the other? And I'm going to answer those questions for you today. I'm going to talk about the 3 most common causes of sciatica and back pain. I'm going to give you eye-opening statistics about MRIs and scans. And this usually blows people's minds when they find out, oh my gosh, that's what I have, and so many other people have the same thing with no pain. Then I'm going to talk about my approach and the incredible results that people are getting when they follow and are disciplined and follow through with the activities and the principles that I teach. I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to volunteer for help live online. We're going to all come on, ask everybody to start their cameras back up. I'm going to take a couple volunteers and we'll walk you through a couple simple exercises explaining why we're doing what we're doing. Then at the end, I'm going to have a couple opportunities for you that are going to be made available for you guys to take advantage of today. So let's get rolling. Do any of these stories sound familiar to you? It all started slowly with an occasional discomfort when I would just do some yard work, housework, go to workout, go for a walk, play tennis or golf or whatever the activity may have been. But over time, it's become more and more intense and consistent. Initially, I noticed stiffness in the mornings, and over time, it would get stiff and sore after sitting for a while, and now the pain and stiffness is constant throughout the day. I notice pain in the morning, but the more I'm up and around, the better it feels. But if I'm up and around all day, by the end of the day and the next morning, it is significantly worse. I felt a twinge in my back, and it slowly progressed to a constant nagging ache. It's only in my leg and foot, occasionally my butt, but my back feels fine. I can be very active. I can work out, bike, run, do most things that I would love to do, but an hour or two later, I suffer the consequences and pain is unbearable. Laying down and sleeping is the worst, and I cannot get comfortable. I bent over, and it's not been the same since. I'm in agony most of the time, and I want some. And I just realized number 9 should be, I woke up in severe pain, and I did nothing to deserve it. And that's probably a number of you on this page, so I'm sorry that I forgot that. Will be added next time. Have you heard yourself say any of these things? I don't know why I'm going through this. I don't know what I did. There's no comfortable position. Nothing is helping. I'm scared to move too much but I get stiff and sore if I don't move. I didn't do anything to cause this. It hurts from my butt to my ankle. Any little movement is excruciating. I cannot find a comfortable position. If I could just get a little bit of sleep. Now I've got to give a little confession here. My wife, about 2 months after I started on this endeavor, back in March or April of 2018, before I started sciatica relief now, my wife woke up and said, it's killing me from my butt to my heel. I go, what are you talking about? And I started laughing because I thought she was kidding me. The next night, at about 2 in the morning, I woke up and she said, I don't know why I'm going through this. I said, what'd you say? She goes, I don't know what I did. I said, hold on a second. And I literally got out of bed, walked to the computer, and started typing out these 10 things. These are the exact things she said while laying there in bed in excruciating pain. And I know it sounds heartless, but I thought, you know what? This is real. This is what people go through. If I don't write these down, I'm not going to remember. And I know she's in so much pain right now, she's not going to remember this. But these are things that pretty much every one of my clients in the past 27 years can relate to. And since then, I've been telling people these things, and everybody goes, oh, that's exactly how I feel. How did you know? How did you know? And I just need to say thank you to my wife, because she suffered through that evening. And I got to tell you, within a week, she was walking 4 to 7 miles. And within 2 weeks, she was back to her 7 to 9 mile walking, simply because she followed the program that I teach people and the principles that I teach people. I know they work. I have hundreds of testimonies of people who just did a consult with me and felt better than they had in a long time. So these principles are powerful, and you're going to see the simplicity and how much actually common sense it makes. So straight from our Facebook page, do any of these sound familiar to you? You know that crawling across the floor in pain, can't barely tie your shoe feeling? I got to fly off for vacation, and I'm dreading the flights. For the last 8 weeks, I've been in constant pain. Riding in the car is brutal. I sleep for an hour or two, then pain is excruciating. I've tried everything, but nothing works. Who has that all day, every day butt and leg pain? No exercise is helping at all. The whatever type of treatments, yoga, massage, physio, osteo, chiro treatments do not help at all. And lastly, my favorite, sciatica is just a plain pain in the arse. Obviously from one of my UK friends on our page. So what exactly is sciatica? In order to understand sciatica, you've got to know and understand what the sciatic nerve is. And you can see where my cursor is, that thick yellow line running down. You can see the sciatic nerve is actually a group of nerves from L4, 5, S1, S2, S3 on the picture. They come together to form a medium-sized thumb thickness nerve, which happens to be the thickest and the largest nerve in the body. It runs right through the middle of your butt, down the back of your leg, and if you jump to the picture on the right, it splits right behind the knee into two nerves called common fibular nerve, which runs down the outside of your calf in your leg, and the tibial nerve, which runs right down the back of the calf muscle. It runs all the way down into the foot, and that's why people can have pain anywhere along anything from the low back all the way down to their foot to where their problem is. So here's another view of it, and then these are the 3 main points. The typical regions of pain for anybody with sciatica. Does that mean if you don't have those points, you don't have sciatica? Absolutely not. These are just the most frequent and common hot spots for sciatica. Now, Sciatica is actually a generic name, though it really does not feel generic, and I am not in any way trying to minimize what anybody is going through but it is a generic name for any irritation anywhere along the sciatic nerve. And the symptoms can range from burning to numbness, from achiness to sharp stabbing pains, from weakness sensation to excruciating stabbing pains with weight bearing. And it can be anywhere from the low back through the foot and anywhere and everywhere in between. It can be constant or position specific. It can be intermittent or varying throughout the day. It can be very consistent. It can be inconsistent. And what is very common for anybody with sciatica, it can drive you crazy trying to make sense of it. All right, that's sciatica. So what is piriformis syndrome? And if anybody's been on the page for a while, they've seen these two exercises to the left, which I give every single piriformis client. The problem is most of them do them before they see me on their painful side, trying to stretch out what's painful, and we'll talk about why that doesn't work. This is a common position for people with piriformis syndrome, and you can see that line lit up right there in red. That is where piriformis syndrome actually aggravates. So here we go. Piriformis syndrome, in order to understand it, you've got to understand that you've got this triangular looking piriformis muscle that runs from your sacrum. This is the small triangular bone at the base of the spine, and it runs out to the upper outside of your hip. And you can see I outlined it in black on the right, and the picture on the left is actually the picture I showed you of the sciatic nerve, and you can see how close the piriformis muscle is to the sciatic nerve. So piriformis syndrome is an irritation of the piriformis muscle causing pain, whether it's from an injury, muscle spasms or tightness, or any problem in the piriformis muscle itself can be classified as piriformis syndrome. The main causes are prolonged sitting in an irritated position right on that muscle. And what I always tell people is I always see that muscle as sort of like a hammock. So it's obviously underneath your big gluteus maximus here. That's peeled away. And actually your gluteus minimus is also, no, actually that's up here. Forget that. Your gluteus maximus is peeled away here. But as you sit down, you can see how that can sort of turn into a hammock, and it sort of, your body weight pushes right into it. So it can happen from sitting or from overuse. A lot of runners and a lot of bikers can get piriformis syndrome. The symptoms are a pain in the butt and hip. But due to the proximity of the sciatic nerve, symptoms can totally mimic sciatica, and you can actually have sciatica from piriformis syndrome. It can be the pain, numbness, tingling, electrical-like shocks from the butt to the toes. But the big takeaway sign, if you think you have piriformis syndrome, but it doesn't feel like you're sitting on a knot or a ball, or it's very painful just to sit, chances are you don't have piriformis syndrome. Studies of the sciatic nerve show that approximately 80% of the time, the sciatic nerve runs just below the muscle. In 5 to 10% of the people, the sciatic nerve runs right above and over the muscle, but in 10 to 15% of the people, those are the people who typically get piriformis syndrome. That nerve pierces right through the center of the piriformis muscle. So which of these make your leg or back pain feel worse? Is it standing, sitting, laying down, twisting, leaning backwards, walking, or bending? Or is it just constant and unrelenting and you're thinking, Dean, you have no clue what I'm dealing with. I am 1 in a million that nothing can help. And I'm glad you're here if that's the case, because you are the person that I want to help today. The biggest mistake that most people make initially when they start getting pain, whether it comes on incredibly strongly or whether it's a gradual onset, is that they ignore their pain and symptoms. And that's simply because you just think, it's just a little niggle, or it's just a little nag, it's just a little ache, and it's gonna go away over time. But once you get into your 30s, then you hit your 40s, and some of us into our 50s, 60s, and 70s, you realize pains don't go away as easily as they once did, because we are not in our teens, 20s, and early 30s anymore, and it takes a little bit more time. And if you've been dealing with any type of sciatica or piriformis syndrome or back pain for more than 8 to 10 days, typically it's going to need some intervention to get some relief and to get the right treatment for it in order to overcome it. So let's real quickly go over the 3 most common causes of back pain and sciatica. We already know one cause of sciatica is piriformis syndrome, but the big 3 back issues that cause sciatica, number 1 is a bulging or herniated disc. Number 2 is stenosis, DDD, which stands for degenerative disc disease, or arthritis. All 3 of those can be used interchangeably because if you have one, you're going to have the others. Number 3, SI or sacroiliac joint dysfunction. We're just going to bust right through these real quickly because then we're going to get to the fun stuff. So a bulging or herniated disc. Here you can see what a normal disc looks like, and this is if you're laying on your back and I cut you open and I'm looking from your head down towards your toes and I slice open a part of you in the lumbar spine region. Sorry for the graphic, but that's what this is. You've got these annular fibers, sort of like the outside of a jelly donut around the outside. And inside is sort of the jelly of the jelly donut. And guess what happens every time you bend forward? The back of this stretches, the front of this compresses, and over time, your disc starts pushing through these fibers, and here you have a compressed nerve root. This is your spinal cord running right down the center of your spine. These are the bones you feel on your back when you touch your back, and these nerves are the nerve roots coming out in between the spine. And so here's what a bulging disc looks like. A bulging disc is basically just a very, very small herniation. And here's a herniated disc, which is basically a very, very large bulge. Okay? And you can see how this space, this blue space in between here, is where your spinal cord runs and these nerves come out. So you can see as this pushes that way, out this way, it can actually touch the nerve root, which can cause the pain that you're feeling. Now, stenosis, degenerative disc disease, or arthritis. Now, this is what a normal spine looks like. This person is standing with his back to the left of the screen, looking off to the right of the screen. You can see the discs all look about the same. The vertebrae are nice and evenly distributed. You can see these spaces where the nerve roots would come out from your spinal cord. Here is a really bad arthritic spine. You can see the discs are degenerated. They're narrow in space. The one thing that this does not show very well is these spaces typically shrink. So I stuck this picture over here. The white is the area around the nerve root. The yellow is the nerve root coming out here. And you can see between L4 and L5 here how when L4-5 disc is shrunk, this totally causes a pinching and a decrease in white space, which means that nerve root can be compressed. The SI or pelvic joint problems. The SI joints are where your pelvis connects to your spine. They're the low back dimples on either side of your low back. People with SI pain typically have pain that they can touch right in those spots. And when they push on those joints, they usually have some buttock tenderness as well. And people with SI joint problems typically go to sit down in the morning to try to put on a shoe or sock, and there's no way they're getting the side of the pain leg up enough to be able to put on their shoe or sock. And I'm sorry, guys, that I'm turning off your videos when you come on because I don't want them on the recording. Nothing personal. All right, so now for the good news. Actually, it's great news. What I'm going to do is show you some following slides that show statistics of people who have absolutely no symptoms. These are scans, MRI results that are of people who have absolutely no symptoms, but most likely they have similar or even more likely have worse findings than most of you. And this is not meant to discourage you, but massively encourage you that there's a lot that can be done for you. Recent studies are actually showing that disc issues can resolve on their own, whether the disc gets reabsorbed by its own leakage or whether the body detects the leak as a foreign substance and attacks it, or it could be that there's just a decreased water absorption capability from the injured disc, which causes it to shrink back and suck back in to its original place. But no matter what the reason, the result is a definite decrease in the size of the herniation or bulge, which should encourage you, because if you think you're having pain because of a bulging disc, let's get to these eye-opening statistics, all right? Most of the people on this call, I believe, are 50 or over. If you're not, that's not meant to be offensive, but for those 50 years old and over, 80% of people your age who have no symptoms, asymptomatic patients, showed to have degenerative disc disease, disc degeneration. 60% of 50-year-olds have disc bulges, and over 1/3 have disc protrusions, which is basically a herniation. So if you believe that you have pain because of a disc bulge and you're 50 years old, there's 60% of the people out there your age who have bulges and no pain. And you can see it's a little bit less at 30 years old. 40% of the people have disc bulges, but more than half have disc degeneration. Okay? So this is meant to encourage you. This means that you do not necessarily have to live with pain because you have a bulging disc. And that's why so many times when people go, do I need to get an MRI because these are my symptoms? I tell people when I look at them and realize that they're at least my age, in their mid-50s or older, I tell them, look, I'm pretty sure that what they're going to find is that you have some disc degeneration, you've got degenerative disc disease, you most likely have a bulge, and there's a good chance you probably have a disc herniation and some compression on some nerves. And because of the disc degeneration, it's going to say you have stenosis. Then when they get their readings back, they go, hey, how did you know that that's what I had? And I'm not a rocket scientist, but statistically speaking, I know my numbers, and I was just playing the odds. And that's why when you go for treatments and somebody says, you know what, I can take care of this in 12 to 14 weeks, most back issues, 80% of the time, 80% of back issues resolve in 12 weeks on their own, no matter how little or how much treatment you get. So if somebody tells you it's going to take 12 weeks to get rid of this, it's time to run, because you can do that on your own. Now, there are other conditions that need way more than 12 weeks. But if someone's trying to get you to buy 12 weeks worth of sessions and it's going to cost you $3,000 to $4,000, it's time to run. Now, how do I treat any issue? And I mean any issue, especially for you people dealing with sciatica piriformis syndrome. I want you to know I treat people with knee and shoulder pains with the same principles, but they work phenomenally well for piriformis syndrome and sciatica symptoms. So if you go to a trainer or a PT or a chiro or anybody who's medically trained, and you tell them you have a tight muscle, the treatment will focus on them stretching that tight muscle out. But this is like you being in your kitchen trying to open up a tight jar, and then you have that genius idea and you say to yourself, wait a second, if I just tighten this a little bit more, I am going to loosen it up. And typically that does not work. Okay? It's like taking a sore muscle and rubbing on it, pulling on it to make it more irritated, hoping that the irritation that you cause it is going to calm down the irritation that's already there. So how do I treat any issue? I do it with a treatment technique called total motion release. It's been developed by a gentleman named Tom DeLonzo Baker, who actually is from Raleigh, North Carolina, presently a good friend of mine, because over the past 12 years since I've been using this technique, we've become friends. And here's how I do it. Here's what happens in the body anytime there's pain, stiffness, tightness, soreness, discomfort, or achiness anywhere in the body. The body is amazing at continuing to function, but what it does, it naturally compensates for itself, which causes imbalances right side versus left side. Now, as you guys have heard me say many times, think of somebody walking around on a really bad sprained ankle. They're hobbling around. Their body's jerking in out of control movements just because they're trying to compensate for that ankle. That causes tightness in some areas, looseness in other areas, muscles that are not working like they're supposed to. What I do is I focus on clearing out all those compensations first before attacking the issue itself. So what I do is I find the comfortable, easy to move, and not painful activities, motions, and exercises. And I focus on those things because this allows the body to relax, tension to ease, and it actually calms down symptoms. And what I do not do is I do not work into painful motions, stressful motions, stiff motions, achy motions, because as the body, this will cause the body to guard in the same way. It'll cause the body to compensate, because when you're moving in areas that are tight or stiff, it's going to cause other parts of the body to overwork or underwork depending on what the issue is, because the body's going to compensate and want to function. It's just going to cause you to get tighter. It's going to cause further imbalances and further abnormal movement patterns, which just aggravates the underlying issue. So people are probably scratching their heads if they've never heard this before while they're on this, saying, does it work? Well, here's what people are saying about this technique. Danielle Zumpetta. These are all Facebook posts from clients of mine. Guys, I finally had my one-on-one chat with Dean Volk, and let me tell you, I've done physical therapy twice and had to stop because it did nothing but make my pain worse. He gave me a few stretches to try, and what was honestly the first time I laid down and barely had any pain in 8 months. Wow, do yourself a favor, set up a chat with him. I cannot wait to continue the stretches to see if I improve. Tina White, who's now the co-administrator on my Facebook page for me. She said, I did something today that I have not done for 2 decades. I went for a walk 2 miles at a local reservoir. Thank you, Dean, for changing my life. And Joanne Nardo, good morning. So I'm really scared. I don't want to move. For the first time in 5 years, I woke up almost pain-free. I had one brief consultation with Dean. We did 2 exercises. I did them again before bed, and I woke up a new person. How does this happen? For the first time since this nightmare I'm cautiously optimistic. So 2 exercises, and then I had her feeling better than she did in 5 years. Tina actually went through an 8-week program that I put on, and she's been living a life now that she has not lived in 20 years. And Danielle was able to lay down for the first time without pain in 8 months. So now for the fun part. I am going to stop sharing my screen. So I do offer video consultations because I want to hear your story and help you sort things out and give advice. Obviously, it's really hard to do that for everybody at once on the screen, but hopefully some of you guys found some relief and a couple things that you can do. All right, for you people who are still on, I'm going to try to stop your videos so that I can get moving here. And I got you all off. All right. Through these consultations, we're changing many people's lives. And many people say, well, how can you do it through a computer, phone, or a tablet? And honestly, I am doing more treatments online now than I am in my clinic. But here's what people are saying about the video consultations. Amy from Baltimore, Maryland area. I've been through 10 years of pain. I've been through years of pain, probably 10. I've had injections, PT, yoga, massage, medication. I had lost any hope in my situation would change, and I found Dean. It's so worth a consult. It sounds dramatic, but my life has changed. My family can't believe the difference that I'm in right now. Christine Sepanek, I got more relief from a video session yesterday with you, and it's lasted over 24 hours than I used to get twice a week at PT. Jennifer Ferrari, who's on this call, or at least was earlier on. I had my first consultation with Dean the other day. It's 2 days later. I've been doing the gentle exercises that he told me to do. I have to say I hardly had a flare-up today. I've been dealing with numbness, tingling in my foot, shin, and glute on and off for about a year. And Susan, who I believe is on here from Scotland, I believe, or Ireland. I don't mean to be wrong, but bravo to Dean. We had our first Zoom consult. She's in the UK at 12 a.m. her time, but it was totally worth the wait. He's easy to communicate with. We discussed my injury. I was given reasonable exercises to do on the spot, I might add. Following his advice, my pain had reduced significantly, and I ordered his book too. Thank you again. You're amazing, Suzanne. And then I just wanted to play a video.
Since I've been on the video with you and we've been doing several exercises, I literally can stand up and walk without my walker. Absolutely unbelievable. I would never have believed it if it didn't happen to me. Unbelievable. I can't thank you enough. I really can't.
I never thought that this kind of strategy would work. It works in a reverse way, like you get hit in the right, hit the left, crazy, but it works. Like just as I did it, I don't feel any pain, so it works. So I'm really grateful. Thank you so much, Mike.
The team has has gone practically after this session. I'm going to continue to do these exercises, and hopefully they'll really help me. Dean, you are fantastic. You're very easy to talk to, and I'm shocked. I cannot believe I'm literally feeling no pain right now.
To date, I haven't had any relief. This morning, Dean did a video call with me at 11 a.m., so we're about an hour in, and I can't even, there's no words. Dean, this is the first time that I've had like some relief. It's not definitely by any stretch gone, but I look forward to working with you and hope that you've given me more tools in an hour than I've had in 4 years.
So after a full month of being out of work, taking pain meds, taking muscle relaxers, seeing chiropractors, dry needle, physical therapy, and I'm talking daily events, going and trying something new to get over this pain and severe pain that has left me not being able to function. I thought I had nothing to lose. So I decided to reach out to Dean, and I am so glad I did. We literally just worked the non-injured side, so the side that wasn't flared up, and a couple of basic stretches, basic moves, nothing extraneous, and I can't believe how much better I feel.
Doctor, and they want to do tests, and they want to do MRI, and give you a shot. We didn't want to go down that road, so if you're on the fence about doing a free consult with Dean, just do it. Just set up a time. I think he's pretty busy this week. Get on his schedule. We did 3 or 4 exercises that really took my pain down. I'm functioning at about maybe 80% better after doing these exercises. And you've been in this pain as long as I've been in this pain. You know what it's about. It sucks. You guys, there's no other word for it. It just really sucks. So put your trust in Dean. Call him.
All right, so I know the video consultations can help, but if you're looking for more, if you're serious about getting the help you need and deserve, what would your life be like if 50% of your symptoms were alleviated? Are you ready to start living with less pain? Did you see or hear things today that made sense, that are a little bit different, and you want to find the same relief as thousands of my clients have over the past years? If you are as dedicated and passionate about taking your life and health back as I am helping you, we can get you where you need to be. So I actually put together 2 offers for you guys to take advantage of today. They should be emailed to you. They should have been emailed about 15 minutes ago. And here's the first one. Actually, I just want to go through this. Recently, I put up a poll on my Facebook page. Was shocked to see how much money people are actually spending over the past month on treatments that actually didn't work for them. Most of them were spending more than $250 bucks. Many people have put down $3,000 to $4,000 for decompression treatments or paid in advance, only to be massively disappointed with the results. It's not uncommon for people who have tried PT, physiotherapy, chiropractic, massage, yoga, Pilates, osteopathic treatments, injections, even surgeries. And then they get on the page and start getting some relief. Medical bills can run into the thousands of dollars. Products, creams, inversion tables, medications, injections, cushions, braces, TENS units, every contraption you can think of runs into the hundreds and even thousands of dollars. I've had people who have spent $30,000 before they came to me. And if you're here, chances are you have not gotten the relief and the help that you deserve. So here are a couple special offers that I put together for people who are watching this. And if you're getting this before Monday, you'll have an opportunity to sign up. So I have a silver online course that I do. It's 98% video course. You sign up, put your name, and you make a password, and you are into my system. Typically, I sell it for $69 a month. It's a 5-month course that is sort of sold as like a membership. You can stay as long as you want, cancel as soon as you want. But what it is every week you get new exercises, new activities, new videos to watch, new things to work on. And it's a progressive thing. It's a month-to-month payment. You can cancel at any time for any reason. Today through tomorrow, what I'm doing for the first 10 people is I'm offering you 40% off for the first 3 months payments. So for $42 a month for the first 3 payments, you can get access to that, and there's an email in your inbox right now that has a link for it. And you're wondering if an online course can help you. Kelly, who I believe was the first person to complete the course, completed the whole course. I'm doing 100% better. Haven't had any pain in a long time now. I think the course is great the way it is. I don't think there is any need to change it. I like that the videos were shorter and to the point. Thank you so much for everything you've done. And then just looking at Tina White's quotes. Yesterday I made this pottery, something I hadn't thought I'd ever be able to do again because of my piriformis pain. Your 8-week program gave me my life and happy place back. I love making pottery. She's been doing great since the 8-week course. And basically the 8-week course was it is the online course, the silver course that I'm offering you. It lasts 21 weeks when you're doing it by yourself, but then when I take people through it on an 8-week course, it's much more expensive because I'm on a call with you once a week for an hour. But those are the results that she got. First time in 20 years. Second offer is typically I do video consultations, and what I'm doing is putting together the video consultations and giving you the silver membership course. I'm putting a package together. Typically, my normal price for a video consultation is $150 for 30 minutes, so people buy 4 packs for $600. That's what I typically sell the membership package for. So you would get 4 video consultations with me for a half hour each, plus an accelerated silver membership course. So you get it all released at once. You can watch it as you want, move as fast as you want. Today through tomorrow, for $499, I'm taking $101 off, and you get the silver membership course for life. The difference between this and the membership course is when you stop paying for the membership course, you lose access to it. With this, you get access for life, and for basically this is a savings of over $375. So it's either the online course for 40% off for the first 3 months, first 10 people before the end of the day tomorrow can get it. Or you can get the silver membership package. It's regularly priced at $150 a session, but you can get a 4-pack with the silver membership membership course for life for $499. And guys, I just want to say thank you. I greatly appreciate you taking your time to listen and watch today. Please take advantage of one of these 2 offers, because I don't offer them very often, maybe once a quarter. But just wanted to say thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys trusting me. And hopefully you guys learned something today. Please check your emails. If you didn't get an email with the links, please just give me a call and I'll be happy. Or not a call, but message me or email me, and I'll be happy to get you to take advantage of one of these options. You guys have a wonderful day.